That's better. Good morning, good morning. Hope all is well, everyone. What time is it? It's 3 a.m. my time, 3 a.m. New York time. It is Tuesday, November the 29th. Welcome to the London session, just open right now. And the reason I don't scramble and start the record button or click the record button ahead of time is because I don't trade for the first 10 minutes, typically, of the open session. It's open now. I just kind of watch that first candle develop. That becomes my minimum open range, the height of this 10-minute candle, which has just started literally 35 seconds ago. So we'll watch that play out. We'll look at a few other things here as well. I'm just going to put you on mute for 1 second. And I'm back, set to adjust a couple of things there with my microphone. Make sure everybody can hear what we're doing here, and adjusting my charts. Okay, we have a 10-minute chart here on the screen, and I will say a 10-minute chart on the left-hand side. We have a 1-minute chart on the right-hand side. I was just looking at a few indicators here. Even though I don't typically use indicators on my charts, I sometimes do play around with them. I still love indicators. I think they're a lot of fun. You can hear what my thoughts as to why I don't use indicators typically on my charts. If you read the FAQ, the Frequently Asked Questions document on the Telegram channel, which is free to join for anybody who has a positive attitude, loves to learn, loves to share, come on by. The link is in the description. Amazing group, over 200 members now. We only started in October. It's November now, November 29th today, and an amazing group of experienced and rookie traders, just all sharing and learning and having a really good time together too. It's quite fun. This is a 3-minute chart. Pardon me. This is now. It didn't look right. I knew that wasn't a 1-minute chart. That was a 3-minute chart. I was experimenting with a few things last night, and that chart was still in place. All right, I'm going to focus mostly on the 10-minute chart now until we get this first candle out of the way, and that will become our opening range. And what I mean by that is this. And you'll typically see me use a marker that looks something like this. As a matter of fact, it looks exactly like this to mark the open range of the London session. I do the same thing in New York, of course, later on, many hours from now. And that will be the height of that first candle. So we're not done yet, of course. There's still 7 minutes left in that candle. That could get a lot higher, a lot taller, either move down more or move up more to give us that initial opening range. But that's what I typically start with. And then we will take it from there. I also sometimes flip over to the VWAP. I like the VWAP. It's one of the few indicators that I actually do use on a regular basis. I would say even a daily basis, I will at least look at it. I don't put a lot of stock in it here in the early London session because there's not enough data yet in the futures contract for it to be particularly meaningful. I'm just going to put the session indicators on there. And this is the Asian session. This kind of dark blue here, this lighter blue that's starting now is the beginning of the London session, and then the New York session will eventually look like this color. All right, there's Asia. So this is yesterday. Asia, London, and New York. Okay. So now we're here starting the London session. All right. So we're trading just above VWAP there. VWAP is that middle line, the volume weighted average price. We're only about 21 points away from that and kind of looking like we're coming down towards it, which is sometimes the way this thing will start off. And that's okay. I want to welcome you today. Thank you for joining us. I've been trading. I'm in my 4th decade as a trader, active trader. I actually started before that, but 34 years of active trading, and very active in the last, 25 years. All right, just letting my Telegram group know what I'm thinking about this opening here. Kind of a sloppy open, as it's been for the last few sessions, actually. And what I will tell you is that on this opening range, you can see this candle kind of trying to form here. Very indecisive candle so far. Relatively large wick and a tiny body for now. Still 4 minutes left to go in the candle, forming my open range. What I'll say is that the 10-minute candle, it becomes my minimum open range, right? But what I will do is typically expand the open range to include or incorporate nearby resistance and nearby support. It would certainly include this candle wick down here. You see that there? And so what I'll do even now, before this candle's finished, I will expand to include that. So that's my open range. This wick I'm not as concerned about yet because this resistance is already marking this whole zone, and I wouldn't take a trade unless we closed beyond that wick anyway. So I don't need to expand the range market to incorporate that, if that makes sense. This one I did because there's more mess, and what I will probably actually do, you can probably figure this out for yourself, is to expand this range to incorporate all of this as well, so that this whole thing becomes my open range, which is 23 points, 23, 24 points, give or take. Okay. 3 minutes left in this candle. I'm going to add a little support zone there, and another one here. I'm going to add another one here. So you can see this market has a little bit of work to do if it's going to get through all of these areas here. Get down to this clean zone. 22 points, and the reason this is a clean zone is because of this clean action behind here and this very clean action on the way back up. So there's a little bit of noise here, but this is basically saying prices could move relatively freely and easily through this area if it gets down to here. This one, I'm going to adjust down just a little bit. I'm going to draw another arrow here. These arrows are not predictions. They're just areas where I believe the market may move relatively freely given the clean traffic to the left. See here, clean traffic, and then even behind it, clean traffic, right? Just playing around with these markers now. We have the time because we still have 1 minute and 45 seconds left in this opening range. The whole idea about drawing these zones, and there's no rocket science, and then people are calling them czar zones in my group, and that's flattering, but it really has basic support and resistance, and it's not rocket science. And sometimes somebody will join the group, and we actually had somebody join the group a couple of weeks ago and then left the group, and I just asked them, I said, I noticed you joined the group and then you left fairly soon after. Was there something else you were looking for in the group, and what else, what can we do to make you happy, essentially? And he said, no, he said, because, great stuff. It's just I'm more of a swing trader. He said, but I will say that, I think the zones you use, anybody could identify them. I said, well, absolutely right. I mean, you could learn how to draw these zones in about 5 minutes. It takes no intelligence to figure out these zones, that this is basic support and resistance. I said, but that's not the point. The point is not to be able to draw your zones. The point is to be able to extract profits from the markets as a result of the drawn zones. And that's where people really struggle, and where I think that we accomplish amazing things fairly consistently, if not very consistently. And that's what I would want people to take from what we do, is learning how to extract profits as a result of understanding these zones. Learning how to draw them literally takes a few minutes. We have 4 seconds left in this candle. I'm going to send this opening range structure to my group now, and I do this every day. And if you want access to that, come and join the group. Telegram, Zerillion Trading a Telegram. There's no charge for that, no charge for anything in Zerillion. All right, we just share for the love, or I share for the love of the game, and been doing this a long time and enjoy sharing. All right, price is pressing up a little bit here, but there's really nothing of consequence happening. I'm just going to keep my eye on this now for a little bit. Just remaining cool and calm and collected. There's nothing to do here. So many traders, day traders, and scalpers just jump into action the moment this market opens and there's a flurry of activity and everybody's buying and selling, and they often end up getting chopped up and whipped in and whipped out of their positions and wonder why. What I'm going to do now, guys, is put you on pause. I'm going to save you having to sit through the sideways grind, and I'll bring you back if I see anything of consequence happen here, all right? Putting you on pause now. Okay, guys, I'm back. A few minutes have passed here, and you can see prices are still very much in the opening range, but seeking to push down a little bit here. So we'll just keep watching. I'll put you back on pause and bring you back. Okay, guys, I'm back, and you'll see that that blue candle that was just for you, it's a few minutes have passed now, but for you was pushing down, was a pretty strong blue candle, has now become a white candle. So a lot of indecision here this morning. I may not continue this video. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I will put you on pause again. We'll see if we can extract the trade out of this a little bit later on, but I'm going to save you the grind. Okay, I'll put you back on pause. Okay, back. You see prices now pushing up into that next zone, that next range there, which looks fairly clean. You know, it's about 22 points. This piece is clean, of course. There is quite a bit of noise here all through, well, not all through, but through a large chunk of New York. This is the open of New York. This is the close of New York. These are 10-minute candles. This is the entire New York session yesterday, and you'll see a fairly large chunk of New York was spent right there. That means a lot of trading happened here. A lot of money changed hands from 10:20 a.m. This is a 10:20 candle, all the way to really exited that area during near the end of the lunch period. So 12:50, 10 minutes to 1. So this is a lot of activity despite the cleanness of this one little piece here at the end. So there will be a little bit of trouble getting up through here, and I hope that makes sense to you and you understand why I'm saying that. But that's the way this works. And you can actually see here, let me show this to you graphically. There's the volume for yesterday, and this is a very graphic depiction of what happens. Asia, London, and New York. You see Asia has very low volumes, of course, in the NASDAQ futures contract. This is the US NASDAQ, and of course we're in Asia, right? Volume picks up in London a little bit. Again, we're trading the NASDAQ. The real explosive volumes happen every day, of course, on the open of New York, and they gradually, decline throughout the day. And then we get new spikes, of course, and something big happens, and you'll get this, this big move here, for instance. That was a very big candle relative to the rest of the day. Here at 12 noon, it was exactly 12 noon for some reason, and we still don't know exactly why, but we don't need to know why. And then, so you'll see all this activity happen at relatively high volumes in this section here that we're looking to move into now, and so that's going to be a little bit tricky for price action potentially, right? I mean, it could just cut through it like knife through hot butter. We just don't know, but I'm just letting you understand, or letting you know what the backdrop is for that move. Okay, struggling here with a little bit with the English language this morning, folks, being 3:23 a.m. on Tuesday, but we're getting by. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for being here. I'm truly thrilled and flattered that you've chosen to spend some time with me here today. I'm going to put you back on pause, and we're back into the range. We'll come back. Talk soon. Hey guys, back. Quite a few minutes have passed now, and you'll see that that candle that was trying to push up wasn't actually able to close out into the zone, and has now dropped back into the open range. And now we're finally getting a push, and there's still 8 minutes to go on this candle, and so I would want this to close into this range before taking a position here. So I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to see what happens here, see if they can actually make it through and close in amongst this mess here. We'll see. I'll bring you back. All right, guys, now things are getting interesting. I just sent this out to my Telegram group and to Twitter, letting them know what I'm thinking here. There's 1 minute and 20 seconds left in this candle. If we can close convincingly into the zone, I may flip the coin here to the long side. We'll see. Give me 1 minute, literally. And I'm going to go over to my own platform, set up a couple of pending orders here on the NASDAQ futures 10-minute chart. Buy stop limit above the market. Buy stop limit above the market. I use Interactive Brokers for my scalping and day trading. I get asked that a lot. I have no affiliation with them, but I get asked, so I'm just letting you know. And the executions are great, fees are great, spreads are amazing, blah blah blah. All right, 5 seconds left in this candle. Closing into the zone. I would like to pull back, but it's actually driving forward. Watching now very closely. All right, going live in a minute here. I would prefer a much bigger pullback on that. The sizing would be about here, about 6 points for our values. I would love to see much bigger pullback than that since we didn't get a top wick. I'm going to have to close this down, make it a smaller. Here we go. I'm in this trade now. This is a 1-to-1. Counting on a momentum continuation here since we didn't get a nice big top wick or a bottom wick on the next candle. Pushing my luck a little bit on this one. Going to be quite honest with you. I think a part of me wanted to trade, and that was not optimal. Not an optimal setup. I'm just counting on the momentum to continue, especially with this noise here. I should have waited or could have waited for a deeper pullback on this other wick, on this next candle, and there it comes. And so this one could cost me a little bit of, could cost me an expense here. We'll see. So here's what I'm dancing with right now in my head. There it is. Yeah. Watching. Let's get our 20 EMA here. I was testing some other things, and so the 20's gone. Yeah, so we're probably likely to get a pullback to the 20. That will take us out of this trade. Moving stop. Nope. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to take the hit on this one. I think we're probably going to get stopped out. I'm probably going to get stopped out on this one, and that's okay. We'll stay here and make this day happen. Yeah, here it comes. I jumped the gun, guys. And I'm stopped out now. All right, so that's for us a 6 point loss. That's part of trading, guys. The impulse control, wanting a trade. I convinced myself that there was enough momentum there to push us forward, and it still might. It's irrelevant since we've taken the expense, right? I've taken the expense. Just watching this now. I'm going to put you on. I'm going to put you on pause to save you the sideways grind, and I'll bring you back if I see something else develop here. Be right back. Okay, guys, going back into the same trade, doing this right now, the live, and I'm back in. Back in the same trade. Exactly the same entry. Exactly the same entry. Stop to below current candle on the 1 minute. You see that there? Yeah, it's struggling to get through that mess that I mentioned earlier. This mess over here. Let's see if we can push through or not. Requiring a lot of patience here, guys. Stop the break even. Very high chance of being stopped out. Watching. And we're done. Nice trade, guys. There's the 6 points. So we're basically, I'm basically break even on the day. I will tell you, in my own account, I'm actually profitable because I didn't get stopped out on that first one. I had a wider stop, but I wanted to show you what I thought was the appropriate stop. But that's neither here nor there. I just want to let you know in transparency that that's what I did. So I didn't take a loss this morning. I only took the win, but for the record, we got a break even overall here today so far. But I think we're We're going to have some more trades here in London by the look of it. And we will certainly have some in New York, as we do just about every day. Just about every day we have 1 to 3 or 4 trades in London because of the range expansion that we typically get. I want to thank you for joining me this morning, guys. Very interesting morning here in terms of price action. I think we handled it very well. I did think I jumped the gun on that first entry and had to pay a bit of an expense for that, but then we were able to get it back by re-entering the exact same trade. And I will tell you that the last trade I did yesterday was the same thing. I got stopped out because of this sloppy price action yesterday, and then went back in with the identical trade, and that's right there on YouTube, and you can see it play out, but for twice the payoff, because we were able to take a bigger size on a smaller stop loss, a revised stop loss. So go watch that video. It's a very interesting one, and we will see you later on today and or tomorrow on the London Open. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We will talk soon. Take care.